Do you deserve better? Now, to some people, that is going to sound like a really stupid question. Well, of course you deserve better. Do you deserve better? We all deserve the best of the best of the best, right? The reason that I'm actually seriously entertaining this question today is because the people that I help, or the people that are drawn to me, are very grateful people. They are people that lead with kindness, lead with gratitude, and find themselves settling, self-sacrificing, or sucking it up in the relationships that they're in. And so other people say to my clients and my students and the people that I help, hey, you deserve better. But that is a real question that likely, if you clicked on this video, that you wrestle with. And I want to help you dive into this today and answer that question once and for all. Do you really deserve better, or should you just be grateful for what you have? Now, here's the thing. This conversation is going to go a little some twists and turns, but I want you to bear with me. I actually want you to grab, if you can, a notebook and a piece of paper and a good pen to write down some of these questions that I'm going to be asking you. Because this video is intended to really help you today. My intention is that you walk away from this video with some real answers as a very first step for you as to whether or not you deserve better than the situation you're in. So if you're new here, are you in the right place? Well, anyway, I'm Heidi. It's nice to meet you. Welcome home. This is a channel where we dedicate all of our resources to understanding and overcoming codependence and finding a way to root down on our real value, find and speak our authentic truth, and live the life and relationships we really deserve. So if you're in a relationship that causes confusion, anxiety, resentment, or pain, you're in the right spot. And likely you've been asking that question, do I deserve better? So this has been coming up on my radar a lot. I always want to listen in for divine guidance and intuition on what I'm supposed to be talking about. And there's this big kind of conflict that I have personally in my own life, and kind of been a student of this tug of war between humility and arrogance, between gratitude, accepting, I'm so grateful for whatever I have, and expectations. I long for more and I want better. Now, look, we're in a society really that where more is the game. That's the game we're playing. We're playing the game of more. And, you can't go anywhere without somebody telling you need to be the best. You deserve to have the best. You need but it's like the best things, right? The best stuff. You deserve the best car. You deserve a better house. You deserve a better job. You deserve to be paid more. You deserve da 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 da. And usually our barometer to how well we're doing with more or enough is in the measurement of our things and stuff. And I have to say, we're a nation that's overstuffed on stuff. We're overfed on stuff, but we're emotionally anorexic. And we're not getting really fed in the true way we need to be. So first I want to speak to this humility versus this arrogance, right? Like, I'm humble, I just kind of, where I'm at is fine, versus, oh, I deserve to be so much better and have so much more than I have right now. I've studied multiple paths, East and West, and I've kind of married them together. I consider myself, if this were a thing, I don't think it is, but I'm making it up, maybe like a Taoist Christian, right? Where East meets West, where I've studied Lao Tzu and the Tao Te Ching, but I also definitely am a follower of Jesus. You don't have to be a religious person to kind of get what I'm saying to you today. I just want to tell you this perspective of humility, which can be found in both of these different ways. So Lao Tzu teaches in the Tao Te Ching, uses the analogy of water. And for us to be like water, right? That we flow to the low places in water and we dwell in the low places, and we don't seek to be in the high places. Water seeks the low places. We also learn that in the Tao Te Ching, it's when you do work in the world that you detach from it. You do the work and forget it, and you never take the credit for anything ever, right? You always give the credit outside of yourself, which these are things that I actually believe. Also, we're not to be loud and draw a lot of attention to ourselves. We're kind of just like stealthily operating, in the world, kind of quietly moving like the water. And I actually think there's tremendous value in that. I think a lot of people could really do well to stop taking all the credit, right? I'm so great. I'm so fantastic. Look at everything I do. It's really about like the Christian perspective, not pursuing your ego and being in service to you all the time. It's all about me, right? Look how great I am. I am accomplishing all these things. I deserve all this greatness. In Christianity, there's that story of King Nebuchadnezzar where he was like, I'm the king of everything and look at everything I've built. And God was kind of trying to humble him to say, well, look, pride comes before a fall. Maybe you've seen that out in the world where somebody gets so high and mighty, I deserve the best of the best. And they're taking pictures in front of their airplane and talking about how hard they work. And they're doing all these things. And they start to like separate themselves because their purpose has been self-serving instead of serving like God wants you to be, right? To serve with your gifts and talents for people. Right? Make what you do in service. Your life is in service to other people, and that you give God all the credit for that. Okay. So humility is being preached in the East and the West and all of these phenomenons, but where does it get cloudy? Where does it get muddy? Well, for my people that when we move out of the area of stuff and things, accomplishing goals and being like a goal getter crusher into the area of relationships. Because if you apply humility and gratitude and be in the low places and all that kind of stuff to your relationships, you could start to believe the story that you're the sacrificial lamb. You're just put there to tolerate this and be in this and be grateful for what you have because, that's God's way or that's the spiritual way. And I've heard this many times in my practice where, it's just, I'm supposed to be here. So if you believe that you're supposed to be in a toxic or dysfunctional situation because you're the light in the dark place, or because you're supposed to just prosper where you're planted and make do with what you have, I want to help unmuddy those waters, because then it becomes a real kind of mind screw. Well, do I deserve better, or should I just have gratitude? I think this is where we cross the line into like toxic gratitude, so here's where I want you to think about this. I want you to imagine a child. Do you have a child or a child you've met in your life that you've just fallen in love with? You've just locked eyes with this child and thought, wow, this child is a miracle. This child is wonderful and divine. And wow, so what a blessing to the world. Okay. If this was your own child, if you can imagine, maybe 7 years old, and you could picture pouring all your, hopes and dreams and love into this child, how would you want your child to be inside of relationships? Would you want them to make do and settle? What would you want for them? All right. Now we could want physical things for our child. I want the best of the best, right? But we can all like apply that humility there, because a child can make do with one little toy or a used toy. It doesn't need the whole toy store, right? Child can make do with a small space instead of a big grand house. Children don't really care so much about money or things until we program them and let them know that's what they're supposed to care about. But again, we are overstuffed on stuff and we are emotionally anorexic. So would you want that child, if they had, makes the difference for a child to be able to live in a small space or not have all the stuff or be okay with where they're at, is they are full with the thing that matters, which is what? Love, care, concern, protection, security, right? So we can teach a child to get along with whatever they have, as long as those things are what? In abundance, right? So would you want your child to skimp? Would you say, well, no, you should just prosper where you're planted. You're being withheld affection. Settle for the crumbs of affection that you have. Settle for the crumbs of love that you have. Settle for the crumbs of appreciation. Settle for the crumbs of, all the different things, right, that go along with this emotional well-being. No, you would say, no, I see very clearly in the area of love, respect, care, and concern that we are not to skimp or sacrifice. We are meant to have abundance in those areas. Now, I want you to understand that you can see that perspective for a child that you love, but do you know you're God's child? You're a child of the universe, so I guarantee you, God does not want you to suffer or self-sacrifice in this relationship, because he, she, God, they are looking at you from the perspective of, I want you to have all the love, all the care. So whatever you can imagine as a human being, you saying to your own child, imagine that love from God, which is like 10 times the love that you have. Let me go back over my notes and make sure I didn't miss anything, because I was just like thinking about this morning. How can I explain this in a way that's going to make sense? So that's the barometer, right? That's where I said, yeah, that's the barometer, the bare minimum. The emotional, psychological barometer is not about stuff. So we can all say, yeah, I deserve better. I would like to have a bigger house. I deserve better to be paid more. I deserve better to, have more things, or a car that gets me around better. Yes, that all makes sense. But if people that are saying that are usually people who are going to teach you how to make more money so that you can do that. So I'm not about that. I'm not a stuff person. I'm not here on the planet to make you feel like you want to. But it can get tricky when I start to teach about this love yourself first, which can seem less humble. It can then make you wonder, that's my cuckoo clock, are you crossing into the line of arrogance when we talk about self-love? Self-love is the bare minimum. Okay. That's the kind of love of self, is the kind of love that you have for a child. The self is the child of God, the child that you would have. So that's going to be your barometer. I want you to take a look inside and see, and answer the question and write down in your journal, if I would love myself like that child, or if I had a child, the situation that I'm in right now, would I want this for my child? Would that be enough? Would I tell and encourage that child to make do? Would I tell that child to settle? Would I tell that child to suck it up? Or would I say, no, love is the bare minimum. Affection is the bare minimum. Respect is the bare minimum. Your living conditions can change, but the inside conditions are something that's non-negotiable, right? How I am treated as a human, my emotional, psychological, and spiritual, sexual, all of that kind of domain of me is non-negotiable. Now, if you find you're in that situation and you realize, yeah, I wouldn't treat my child this way. I wouldn't want this for my child. And I don't think God would want that for me either. I think I'm meant to be abundant in these areas. The next step would be to start taking some steps to think about how to make your life be a living reflection of the new, true value that you actually hold for yourself. All right. I want to help you do that. You can go over to lovecoachheidi.com, seek me out, learn about the many different ways we can serve you over there. One of the ways we do is with our program that we have called Love Yourself First Empowerment School. And that's where we teach these principles, step-by-step process, a self-love system of how to embody this new appreciation, affection that you are going to learn how to hold for yourself. All right. I love you so much. Take excellent care of yourself. I'll see you really soon in another video. Okay.